All right. So another crazy busy week.
Yep.
I went to Iowa for a memorial service. I spent some time it was the first time in like a year and a half, with my two brothers, my sister, and my mom, and all five of us were together. And we had a delicious dinner at Applebee's.
Fancy.
Yeah, my mom loves Applebee's, so
Yeah.
I chose Applebee's.
Whatever makes mama happy, right?
Yeah, but we shared a lot of memories, had a lot of laughs. It was fun.
Good.
But I'm glad to be home.
I'm glad you're home. We missed you. The girls often at random times would tell me, I miss Daddy. I wish Daddy would come back. I was like, he's coming. He's coming.
And then I came back, and they have been at their grandma's the whole time.
That is true. They like you to be nearby, but not really with them.
Yeah. Story of my life.
They have loved it. So my parents are in town, and they're staying in their house that they Airbnb when they're not here. And the kids are just loving staying there. Like, they want to be there every single night and during the day. They were there all day yesterday with no activity. Like, nothing was going on. They were just chilling at grandma's and papa's, and they're loving it.
At least my dog was happy to see me.
Your dog was very happy to see you, but I was happy to see you.
Were you?
Yeah, I really was.
So did you or did you not show up at the airport to greet me as I got off the plane?
Well, you can't greet people when they get off the plane anymore.
I know, but you could be right outside security.
I tried, but I asked you, like, we were texting, and I said, have you landed? He's like, yeah, just landed. I was like, okay, I'm going in to go to the bathroom. And then when I got out of the bathroom, he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm going to I was just in the bathroom. I'm waiting now for Mom and Violet to go to the bathroom.
It was the perfect movie experience where the hero comes home and everyone rushes to greet him with hugs and everything else.
Yeah, your dreams were crushed, weren't
Well,
they?
it wasn't me. It was whoever was sitting next to me on the plane. And I was the guy in the background of the show that just kind of walks on by himself.
Aw. But we did eventually find you. So
Yeah.
you're back. We're glad.
I'm back. Better than ever.
That's
Ready
right.
to record episode 92
Yes.
on our march to 100. Should we get to it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Episode 92. Here we go. Any second now. We're going to start.
And go.
It's going to be a great episode. Gather round, everybody. It's time for a family meeting. The Family Meeting is a show that's all about family relationships. We're the Ostracamps. I'm Thomas. This is my wife, Legalis.
Hello and welcome to our family. Welcome to episode 92 of the Family Meeting Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about gossip. We want to look at this subject from a few different directions.
Oh, hey, before you get going,
I'm already going.
I need to tell you a story about this person.
No.
Like, you're not even going to believe what I heard.
La 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 la
It
la
is
la la la.
the most juiciest story you've ever heard, and you won't even believe it.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Like, tell me.
So, it has to do with your mom.
Yeah, right. Nice try. Okay, so gossip.
Yeah, that's gossip.
We got to look at this subject from a few different directions, okay? Because we don't want to just look at gossip from one direction, like gossip is sin. Don't ever gossip. We're gonna look into it a little deeper than that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right,
I'm
so-
intrigued. Like, is there a positive side of gossip?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
No, not really.
She has a new revelation, folks.
Yeah, no, there's no positive sides to gossip, but we want to define gossip. We want to talk about the dangers of gossip. We want to hear what the Bible has to say about gossip and teaching our children how to respond to gossip. But not only that, how they can be careful with their words. And we've had family meetings about this topic in our own family somewhat recently.
Yeah.
And that's what led to this podcast episode. On the family meeting, we like to take the things that we're learning and we're going through in our family and share them with you. We are literally welcoming you into our family when we do these podcasts.
We want to gossip to you about us.
Yeah.
Is that the positive side?
No. Yeah, learning from other people's mistakes, kind of.
Okay.
I guess that is the positive side. But yeah, we're going to share our experience with you and hopefully give you some suggestions on how to deal with gossip in your family.
Now, because I'm a pastor, my wife and I hear information about people quite often. People will confide in us with their personal information, despite the fact that our children are right there in the room or in the next room over.
Right.
And here, it's a little different because we don't have an office to go to. So we meet in our house a lot of times. Our kids are upstairs. And we've talked about this a little in the past about listening in or whatever else.
Yeah. Yeah, eavesdropping maybe.
But they hear things whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
And that means they have many opportunities to use self-control and keep that information to themselves. And as far as like church ministry and all that is concerned, we only share with our kids the information they need to know. Now, I do know pastors that literally tell their kids like everything that happens. I don't think that's a good idea.
Probably not wise.
But we work to train them how to hold their tongue and use wisdom as far as what to say. And children often don't have wisdom to know when to be quiet. Adults often don't have wisdom to know when to be quiet.
Right.
And so we need to discuss this topic of gossip. We need to evaluate our own words. And maybe this is a subject that you need to work on for yourself.
Yeah, this is a good reminder, I think, for all of us. So first of all, when we say gossip, what do we mean? What are we talking about here? Is this all discussion about other people? Is that gossip? Anytime we talk about somebody else, it is automatically gossip. So gossip defined is casual or unconstrained conversation or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true. So one aspect of gossip is telling stories about other people that may or may not be true. So-and-so told me this, who heard it from so-and-so about so-and-so. And it's like,
whoa, who is it? Tell me the names.
How do you even know if that is true? You have it's like, it's unsubstantiated. We don't know if we can believe it or not. So you got to be careful about some of that.
And there's something interesting about, we want to know those stories, whether they're true or not. Like we just want to hear that.
It's interesting how the human brain works. We want to know the news. We want to hear something about other people. We want to hear stories. And you know what? I mean, I think about this. This is where I think it can be a little bit of a gray area because Jesus told stories about people to help us understand truths, right? And often his stories were about, they were parables. They weren't about real people. But we can learn from other people. And so this is where I think it's a gray area somewhat. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
So we won't get into it now.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
I'm getting excited. So, okay. But gossip is also considered idle talk or rumor, especially about personal and private affairs of others. All right. So for one thing, as far as if you are trying to decide, is this gossip or is this just, talking positively about somebody, or is this just literally needing to know how to pray for someone?
I love that. You
like
often
that
have
one?
those people who are like, oh, we need to pray for so-and-so.
He cheated on his wife and she cussed him out in the front yard, and let's pray for them.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, that's a little more information than people need to know.
But on the other hand, there are times when you want to hear how to pray for someone and you want to know how to pray for them. But I'm not talking about a bunch of their personal information. But if somebody is having a hard time in their family, I want to be able to pray for them. And if we're having a hard time, I would want people to be praying for us. But you can do it in a certain way. You can say, pray for so-and-so. Doesn't have to be, you don't have to tell them about what happened on the front yard. Yeah, exactly. But as far as whether or not what you're telling someone is true, that's very important. Exodus 23:1 says, you shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. So when we're when telling other people about other people, and it's just all about being malicious, I just want them to know this negative information about my friend over here. And I say friend in quotes. That's not right. That's not okay. And what is malicious? I mean, it's all about how can I hurt somebody? It's not good. So that's one thing to kind of consider as we talk about gossip. But gossip should not be a part of a Christian's life at all. It's not healthy for us to talk about other people or their personal information. Okay, we should never be sharing information about other people in a negative light, just for the purpose of sharing negative information. Now, there's mandatory reporting and people who are in dangerous situations. If we know something like that, we need to talk about it.
Well, yeah, that's a different
We need to
thing
go to the
altogether.
right authorities. Exactly. But just to go up to somebody and say like, hey, I just heard that this happened over. I mean, it's just gossip. It's wrong.
And I know there's like a stereotype that this is like a woman's thing, but men talk too.
Really? What does it sound like though? Does it sound the same as when women do it?
No, usually the voices are a little deeper unless it's my voice.
It is interesting though. If you have information about somebody else or somebody shares information, like think of a group setting, it's like people get quiet and they kind of lean in. Like everybody sits on the edge of their seats waiting for the information.
Yeah. But let's this is family meeting, so let's take it into the family realm. Okay? And in a family, gossip is kind of a blurry line. And you think about it, we tell our children all the time, I want you to come to me. I want you to talk to me if you have a problem. Share your feelings with me. You can talk to mom and you talk to daddy about anything, anytime. And some of those things that they come to talk to us about are going to be other people. Mm-hmm. And our children should have an open line of communication to us as parents about any topic. And I don't believe it's gossip when my child comes to tell me about a situation with another person, or they have a question about how to handle a relationship, or they just come to me to share an interaction they had with somebody. I'm not going to tell my children, stop talking, you're gossiping.
Right.
Like that's part of teaching them all the relational things that they need to know.
Mm-hmm. Right. And they've got to be comfortable being able to share that. And we are the people who they need to be coming to. They don't need to be going to their friends and to other church people or neighbors or whoever else. They need to be coming to us. But the home should be a place where our children feel comfortable talking. Not only that, but it's really important for us as spouses to be able to talk to one another. So at the end of every day, Thomas and I will kind of review basically every interaction we had with people all day.
You've had a few more interactions than me throughout the day.
Every day. I always have more interactions than Thomas does.
I'm like, me and Coconut.
Your life is so sad. Actually, there are probably people out there listening to this and they're like, Thomas is so lucky because they don't like people, but I like people. So.
They say I'm so lucky just because I'm married to you.
Oh, nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, learn the lesson.
Yeah, it means so much when it's fake.
No, it's sincere.
Oh, yeah. So we talk, we kind of review our day at the end of every day.
Yeah.
And usually it's like, oh, how did your meeting with so-and-so go? And you tell me what they said and what you said and how it went.
I'm like, you're not going to believe.
No, not like that. But just how things went, how your day was. And sometimes it's venting. I mean, there are times when I pull my husband in and I am venting. A lot of times it's about my children.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so frustrated. Why can't she just pick up her shoes? She knows the shoes don't go there. It's just driving me crazy. And you are so wonderful. You're like, I know. Yeah.
And that is horrible, honey.
Yeah. Yes. She's terrible. She deserves to be chained in the basement.
Whoa, no.
You don't say that.
We don't have a basement.
Chained in the attic?
No chains.
Okay. But yeah, sometimes it's venting. And honestly, sharing feelings and all those interactions is called communication. It's healthy. It's really good for us as spouses to be able to communicate like that. And we need that. We need that kind of decompression at the end of the day. And so I think that's very good for us. So even if the things that I'm saying are negative, I'm saying them to my husband for the purpose of processing and making a plan where to go from here. And sometimes that is what our communication is. It's like, okay, this was a really negative interaction with this person. This person did something that I know isn't right. How should I handle this? Where should I go from here? And oftentimes that is what we're talking about. A lot of times I'm asking Thomas to tell me if he thinks I handled a situation correctly. That is constant.
And most of the time, what's my answer?
Yeah, you totally did what was right.
No, exact opposite of that.
Don't lie to the people.
Why in the world did you say that?
Yeah. No, but usually he does say that I handled it right. But there are times when you'll say you were too harsh with her, meaning a child. One of our children.
One of our kids usually.
One of our kids. Sometimes you'll say, I think that was maybe.
You're never harsh with other people's kids.
No, never. But it's kind of one of those sanity checks. It's a sanity check. Not only that, but if I'm having a problem with a person, my husband needs to be in the loop of exactly what's going on. Like, this should not be something that goes on for a long time and all of a sudden he's blindsided that there's this huge disaster happening on the side of my life. This is not idle gossip. This is communication for a point and for a purpose.
So as we talk about gossip, we're not talking about communication as a family. When we refer to gossip, we're talking about spreading negative information that may or may not be true about people to other people who don't need to know that information. So if you're telling somebody about somebody else and that somebody doesn't need to know about somebody else, you shouldn't be telling somebody. Did you follow that?
Yes.
It's a lot of somebodies.
Can you just repeat it, though, to make sure that we all got it? No, just
No.
kidding. Don't.
No, I was going to say no because I don't even know if I said it right. We're talking about sharing juicy information just to have something interesting to talk about. And knowledge is power, right? And so if we know things about other people, then we want to use that to draw other people in. That's gossip. Sharing embarrassing information about people for the purpose of making yourself look better. Gossip always has incorrect motives. And the point of it is to elevate me and destroy others. And maybe you say, I don't want to destroy that person. Well, if you're telling somebody else about that person, we should have given these people names.
Somebody against somebody.
Yeah. But you're destroying, whether you realize it or not, you're destroying that person that you're gossiping about.
Their reputation, character. Mm-hmm.
So if somebody doesn't need to know something and you're telling them, that's gossip. It's gossip is not about helping other people or encouraging them. You're not trying to figure out a way that you can help that person. You're just literally tearing them down.
Right.
Whether the information is true or not.
And I recently had one of my daughters asked to talk to me alone. And she came to me. She shared with me a situation that was going on with one of her sisters.
Really? What was it?
It was juicy.
Ooh,
it was so juicy.
Tell us.
No,
we want to hear.
I'm not going to tell you because that would be gossip.
But now we all want to know.
That doesn't matter. So she was really concerned about her sister's well-being. She was to the point where she was in tears. Like we're hiding in this little hallway, talking, trying to be quiet so that nobody else hears. And she's just weeping. And she explained to me that there was an issue with a relationship that her sister was trying to deal with all alone. And she said, Mom, I really think you need to help her, but I don't know what to do. What can I do? And I couldn't really do anything to help yet because she hadn't come to ask me for help. And I just hugged this daughter tight. And I told her as she cried on my shoulder, I said, you did the right thing. You did the right thing to come and talk to me about it. I said, I'm going to help you and I'm going to take care of this situation. So you don't need to worry about your sister anymore. I'm going to take care of it. And she said, will you make sure that she doesn't know that I told you? And I said, well, I won't lie to her. But I said, I won't tell her that you're the reason I know something is happening. And that's when I began to then pray that her sister would come forward to talk to me. And it was probably a couple of days later that sister did come to me and say, Mommy, I need to talk to you in private. And she brought me into the situation and I was able to give her the advice she needed. But that first sister was not gossiping about the other. Her motives were pure. She truly wanted to help her sister and had a genuine concern about her sister. And she went to the right person. She wasn't going around talking to everyone else, talking to the other two sisters, talking to friends, talking to cousins, talking to neighbors. She came to the right person. She came to her mom. And she went to someone who could help. And so that was a good thing. And I encouraged her, in that moment, you did the right thing. Good job. And now that whole situation is taken care of and we're moving on. But sometimes it's good for communication.
Yeah. So just because we're saying gossip is wrong does not mean we're saying never talk about other people. Sometimes we use other people's stories to teach our children. And we will explain to our girls that someone we know made a poor financial decision. This is the choices that they made. Now, we often do like our podcast, where if we're saying something negative about someone, we don't give their names.
Right.
Because we're not trying to tear somebody down. We're trying to learn from the situation. So we'll say, hey, they made a poor financial decision. This is what they did. And these were the repercussions. Or, hey, this person made a poor relationship decision. And now look at what has happened in this situation. We want them to understand that everything we do in life has consequences.
Yes, right.
We want them to learn from other people's mistakes. And so we often will not use names when we're teaching, but sometimes we will, if it's somebody that they know and they know the situation that has happened and it's public knowledge.
Right. And there's been those situations where someone in our
family,
distant family, not the six of us, but someone in the family, something bad happened to them. And it's like, listen, I know this is really sad that this happened, but these are some of the choices that led to this fallout or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've had divorce in our extended family and different things like that. And it's having to relay that information to the kids and talk about, hey, this is why it's mommy and daddy take time to go out on dates, or why we do this. And so we use those stories to help teach them and learn lessons from them. So once again, the point is not to tear somebody down. We're trying to teach and encourage and give the lessons they need to know.
That's right. Motives are incredibly important when sharing information about other people. Check your heart. If there's even a flicker of excitement in your heart when other people go through trials and hard times or make bad decisions when you're sharing that information, you're sharing it for the wrong reason. If there is a flicker of joy and excitement in your heart because of it, it's wrong. Don't talk. The Bible says to weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice. So we should never be happy when bad things happen to other people. It should break our hearts, and it should cause us to examine our own lives and use it as an opportunity to teach our children, not as an opportunity to, as you said, knowledge is power, to show this power that you have to other people and get the floor and get people to listen to you because you have this knowledge and this news to share. It's wrong.
And you have to remember what they say. You know what they say?
I don't know what they say.
Loose lips sink ships.
I've never heard that. Is that really a thing?
Yeah. You seriously have never heard that?
Yeah, I've never heard it. What is the idea? In battle with battleships, somebody tells where the ship is, and then that's how they can destroy it and bomb it?
I've never actually looked up, where that saying came from.
Loose lips.
It has to do with wartime. I picture submarines.
Okay.
If you're talking, people can hear and bomb it, or somebody could hear the information and know where the ship's going to be.
Yeah,
I don't even know how far back the saying goes. I just know that.
Well, it's got to be old if you know it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is painful. To this almost 42-year-old husband of yours. But we had an opportunity to teach our children about the dangers of gossip not that long ago. Lysandra had mentioned the family meeting that we had about this recently. And in order to not confuse you about who the somebody is talking to the other somebody about somebody else...
Names have been changed to protect the
innocent. And we're not going to give you the actual names because, once again, you don't need to know that information. We just want you to learn from the story that we're going to share. So I'm going to try to keep these straight.
It's a little bit of a vague story, too.
Yeah.
Bear with us.
So as far as I know right now, we don't have anybody in our immediate life with this name. Okay? So nobody's going to be like, okay, who is it? A lady we knew, and let's call her Allie.
Okay.
Told our girls of a funny interaction between her and another church lady.
What are we going to call her?
Gertrude, because I don't even know if there's a Gertrude alive today. Do you know Gertrude?
No, I was thinking of someone else that has a name really close to that. And I was like, I can't believe you just used that name, but it's not the same name. So you're good.
No. As far as I know, like that is one of those Bible names that nobody...
Gertrude is in the Bible?
No, but I'm saying it's so old. Like,
okay.
No Gertrudes are left alive.
There is a Gertrude right now listening to this who is very offended.
If your name is Gertrude,
sorry,
I want
Gertrude.
you to send me an email at info@familymeeting.org. We will record a special episode called We Love Gertrude.
Oh, yeah.
And we will send it to you. So, info@familymeeting.org. And you have to prove to me your name's Gertrude, not just tell me.
Driver's license.
Yeah, social security number, credit cards.
Okay. So tell us about Allie and Gertrude.
All right. So our girls came home and they told us the situation, which is good because we need to understand what's going on. But then they made a mistake. They told a friend. Mm-hmm. So once again, you think about the situation we're talking about. If somebody doesn't need to know about Allie and Gertrude, then we shouldn't be telling them. So they did tell us we need to know. We lead the church. Lysandra and I lead Beachside Community Church together. So we need to know that information. The friend does not need to know. So then what happened is they told the friend. That friend told her parents. And in about 24 hours, somebody else in the church made a joke about the exact situation to us, Lysandra and I.
Yep.
And I remember like kind of glancing at you. Like,
yeah, we both like
how did they know?
How did they know about that situation?
How did they know about that?
Who would have told them that?
Like it just happened. And we hadn't told anybody. So we knew at that point our girls had talked about it to other people. And so that's when we called the family meeting like, okay, this person who was not involved in the situation at all made a joke about the situation. So how did that person find out? That's not connected at all.
Right. And we actually asked the girls. We asked them, have you told anyone else about the interaction between Allie and Gertrude? They said no. We said, are you sure? Think about it. Did you tell your friend Jessica? Oh, yeah, I guess we did tell her. And then we got to that opportunity to explain to them how you only have to tell one person for it to go around a whole community.
See those loose lips? They could sink the ship.
Right. Now, this was a rather harmless story of gossip, okay? The interaction between Allie and Gertrude was not something that would probably like crash and burn a church or destroy lives or anything. It was kind of a funny interaction that was a little questionable, you know?
No,
like,
but if it got back to Allie... No.
Yeah.
It got back to Gertrude that Allie was talking about her. Then that could really hurt Gertrude.
It could hurt her feelings, yeah.
It could push her away from the church.
Yeah.
So there could be... The church is not going to be destroyed, but this person could be deeply wounded.
Yeah.
Even about something simple.
Right, because she wasn't like nothing bad. It wasn't even anything bad. But at the same time, we cannot understand what will hurt another person. Oftentimes we think like, who cares if we tell that story?
Oh, I'm amazed at the simple things that some people are upset about.
Because we don't know how people grew up. We don't know their backgrounds and every detail of their lives, why they would be particularly sensitive about this thing that like I joke about myself all the time and it doesn't even matter. But to this person over here, it is hurtful and it wounds them because of what has happened maybe in their past or who knows why. And it's not for us to judge why or if someone should be upset about something. We just need to not share information that doesn't need to be shared. And this was a perfect opportunity for us to teach our girls that lesson. You only have to tell one person. Because, of course, that one person is like, I'm not going to tell anybody, just this one person. And so on and so forth. And a whole community can know information that they have no business knowing. And I think about Proverbs 11:12, whoever belittles his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding remains silent. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. And sometimes we just need to stop talking.
Yeah.
Just stop talking. And this is a great lesson for me. I am a chatterbox. I'm a talker. I like to think that I can be quiet when I need to be, but sometimes I am not quiet when I need to be. And so this is a good lesson for those of us who like to talk.
And just another reminder, because it is talking about remaining silent, it's talking about keeping, in this instance, verse 13, a secret covered. We're not talking about hiding wrongdoing.
Right.
So wrongdoing needs to be brought to light to the right people.
Yes.
Okay, so don't misunderstand what we're saying. And there's a lot of harm that has been covered up that should have been revealed sooner.
Yes.
And we think about what's going on in our world today with the Southern Baptists who've covered up a lot of things, and the Catholic Church that's covered up a lot of things. And so we're not talking about that at all.
Right, right.
So if there's things that need to be revealed, wrongdoing, people are breaking the law, people are being hurt, like those are not things that you keep covered.
Right. But if it's a story between Allie and Gertrude that's harmless and silly, but could cause hurt feelings,
Yes.
stop talking.
Yeah.
Just close your mouth. Do the little zipper thing, lock it with the key, and throw the little key away. Stop talking. It's a good lesson for us.
And so then we then explain to our children that they're going to hear things. Mm-hmm. Like they're going to be privy to information that other people will not or should not be privy to, which means they have to have a great amount of wisdom and self-control when they speak.
And that's hard. They're children.
Yes.
They're kids. That is a lot of pressure to place on children. And yet pastors' kids often have that kind of pressure, don't they? It's just part of the...
and it's everybody's
Everybody
kids.
does, yes.
It's everybody's kids.
That's
because we all have friends and family and other people in our lives where, hey, we are going to hear information about other people, even if it's a family member, that other people don't need to know about.
Yeah.
They don't need to know the situation. So it's a different scenario at our house than a lot of our listeners, but it's the same thing in a different way.
Yeah.
And so there are things that they should never repeat. There's things that I should never repeat or you should never repeat. There's things they should only talk to their mom and dad about. And we reminded them that death and life are in the power of the tongue. I'm reminded of this verse a lot. It is, it's our friend Bobby's kind of life verse. He shared this a couple weeks ago in our connection group. It's a life verse that think about our words, because death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
And we reminded them that everything they say will have a consequence. And once we say something, it's out there and we can't ever get back. So we talked about how easily people's feelings are hurt and what the repercussions could be because of this. And so we have to be very careful with our words.
Mm-hmm. And of course, our children, they all felt terrible that they had told their one friend about this little scenario. And they apologized, and there were tears in their eyes. And, you know, we assured them it's okay. Nothing bad actually happened from all of this. But it was a good lesson for them to learn. And it's a good lesson for all of us to be reminded of. You don't really need to share the information. And if you don't need to share the information, then don't. If you're not uplifting people, don't speak. Our words should encourage people, uplift people, and most importantly, they should please the Lord. There are some people, though, of course, that you can confide in, and there are other people, though, that you're going to learn not to share important or personal information with.
Yeah, I can't talk to that person because they're gonna tell people.
What's sad is oftentimes you're like, you learn that lesson after they've shared something about you that you didn't want them to share. Like, it's kind of too late sometimes when you figure that out. But here's a good way that you can know whether or not you should share information with someone. Are they always coming to you with information about other people?
Yeah, because if they're talking to you about other people, they're talking about you to other people.
Right. And Thomas and I always talk about that. Well, that's somebody we don't want to tell anything to. So this is a good lesson for all of us. Be careful who you trust with your information as well.
Now, what if you have no intention of gossiping, but someone comes to you and begins to gossip about others? How do we handle that? And there are a few ways to handle that. You could slap them in the mouth.
Whoa.
And then say, don't tell me that. That's gossip. And they would probably not tell you that anymore.
Why don't we start at the other end of the spectrum with like gentleness and
all right, I guess we could.
Subtlety.
We could go your way.
Okay.
With some people, you can be subtle and gentle.
Right?
You don't necessarily have to slap them in the face.
Okay. Please don't slap anyone in the face. Okay.
Oh, just chain them to the basement.
Touche, my friend.
You can simply change the subject and they'll get the message. With some people, you may have to be a little more direct. And you can say something like, I don't really need to know that about them. Or have you talked to that person directly about this situation? Hey, tell me about how you're doing. Tell me about your life. With others, you will have to be extremely direct. We don't believe in physical violence, no matter the jokes you hear on our podcast. You will have to tell them, this feels like gossip. I'm not interested in this information. I don't want to talk about them anymore. And it's hard to be that direct.
Oh,
with
I'm
people,
so bad at it. Yeah.
But it may come to that. Mm-hmm. Think about what Proverbs 20, verse number 19 says. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets. Therefore, do not associate with a simple babbler. I love the way that's put.
I feel that is pointed at me, a simple babbler. I just really sometimes feel like, geez, Lysandra, you are a simple babbler.
Why, are you gossiping about people?
No, but, I just talk a lot. And
yeah,
so
but that's
it's
not
idle.
what it's talking about.
I know, but the word simple babbler
Just
makes me feel
you.
like I should raise my hand and be like, hello, I'm Lysandra, I'm a simple babbler.
Oh, yeah. So I think I should change the way we do our podcast intro.
Oh, great. Yeah, you change it every time.
For those of you that are on YouTube, you get to hear the introductions all the time.
The crazy things he calls me.
But if you are listening to the podcast itself, you don't hear those things. But so little plug for the YouTube channel.
We have talked about name calling on our podcast. And yet every single week you call me a different name on this podcast.
Yeah, but it's like an adorable name.
Adorable? Flibbity Gibbet? That's kind of cute.
Thank you.
Never mind. That's kind of cute. You can call me Flibbity Gibbet.
I do. You're actually in my phone as Flibbity Gibbet.
Yeah, right.
Got to be careful so I don't accidentally cuss trying to say Flibbity Gibbet.
I don't even know what cuss word that would end up being, but let's not talk about that. What were we talking about? Gossip?
Yeah, simple babbler.
Simple babbler. Yeah, that's right. I took this in a bad direction.
Yeah. I'm Thomas, and this is my wife, Simple Babbler.
Hello, and welcome to our family.
There we go.
Okay, so this is good information, though, for us adults to understand, but it's also something that we should be teaching our children. Gossip. What is it? What are the dangers? How can we hold our tongue? What do we do if someone else is gossiping? If they can refrain to listening to gossip as children, it will be much easier for them to refrain from listening to gossip as adults. Why not help them have good habits now? Gossip is a big part of our culture. It is everywhere, but that doesn't make it right. So if you were going to talk about somebody, say positive, uplifting things about them. I love to be able to share information that's positive. I love to be like, did you hear so-and-so got an award? I'm so proud of them. Or did you hear so-and-so's business is booming and they're super successful? This is fabulous. I love sharing that information and just uplifting people to other people.
And that's not gossip.
No.
Because once again, you're not trying to tear people down.
Yeah, that's just that's celebrating with those who celebrate, And so that's a good thing. Say uplifting things. Now, if you can't think of a positive, uplifting thing to say about that person, then do not talk about them at all.
Because you know what Mama says.
If you can't say something nice.
No, that's not what she says.
Oh, okay. What does Mama say?
Loose lips, sink ships.
If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. That's what Thumper's mom said in Bambi.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Mom says that.
Okay. Just can't let me be right.
You're always right.
Thank you. Why don't we wrap this episode up?
All right, but first, you're not going to believe what I heard the other day.
Stop it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to gossip.
But it's a positive thing.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then.
So there was this person, and I can't say their names because this is super bad.
Wait, it was supposed to be positive. You can say their name if you're talking
The positive thing is it didn't happen to me.
Stop. All right, wrap it up, Thomas. Wrap it up.
So we want you to have a family meeting tonight and talk about gossip. Have the conversation in your family that we've had with our kids not long ago and discuss the difference of communicating as a family versus gossiping. And if you've been a bad example of holding your tongue, apologize and make a commitment to consciously work on this area of your character and spend some time just talking about, hey, well, the difference between sharing positive things about people and sharing negative things about people. Talk about, hey, what's the information that we need to know as family versus, you know what, that's not really information we need to be sharing. And maybe you could share a story where information you told one person ended up going around your community, around your sphere of influence or whatever else. It's a beautiful illustration. It's kind of like people who are trying to find a leak in the water pipes or whatever else. You know, they'll put the dye in to try to figure out, okay, where is it coming out at? And once you can help people to understand, hey, if you tell this person, then they may tell that person and tell that person, and before you know it, the information's out and you can't get it back.
That's right.
So have that discussion about what is gossip, what's family, just family communication, things that we need to know, and help your kids, help your family to understand what the parameters ought to be.
Thanks for joining us today. Please go and subscribe to the Family Meeting podcast from your favorite podcast provider. And if you found this information to be helpful, please share this episode on social media and invite your friends and family to listen in with you.
To find more content and information Lysandra and I provide, you can go to our website, familymeeting.org, and you will have links to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram on there. And we mentioned our YouTube subscribers get a little background sneak peek, behind the scenes look. So maybe you're interested in that. For some reason, you want to see us and not just hear us. You can find those links at our website. If you want to send us an email, maybe you got a story about gossip. Don't tell us exactly who you're talking about,
Right.
but you have a story that can kind of explain and help us with this lesson. Send us that over at info@familymeeting.org. Maybe you want to shoot us a voice message and you have a story you want to share with us and you think it'd be helpful to the rest of our community. Do that at 904-257-3062.
Right. And also, we love hearing from you episode ideas. So don't be shy. Send us an idea, a topic that you would like to hear talked about on the family meeting, and we'll do that as soon as we possibly can. We've had many of our episodes were recommended to us by listeners, and that's been wonderful. Those are some of our very best episodes, in my opinion.
We are so excited because we are less than a month away from Relationship Refresh in Orlando.
I can't wait.
And we have people signed up, ready to go. We'd love to have you be a part of it, no matter where you are. We have a couple flying in from Iowa to come and be a part of that in Orlando. It's a great spot to get away and refresh, get a little vacation, some sunshine here in Florida. So we'd love to invite you along. And if that's something you're interested in, we would love to see you.
And they can find that information on our Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay. Instagram page?
Yes.
Okay. So you can find it there, Relationship Refresh. Hopefully we get to see you there. And we want to invite you to join us for our next family meeting as we talk about weaknesses and strengths. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses.
You are my strength and I am my weakness.
That's kind of true.
We'll talk about that next time.
Next time.
Thanks for joining us today for this family meeting. Have a great week, everybody. This meeting is adjourned. Boom.
Yeah, baby.
Another one in there. We do want to invite you to be a part of our relationship refresh. We're so excited about it. Have some fun things we're going to share, insights, stories, drop some knowledge bombs. Well, she'll drop the knowledge bombs. I'll just be here for color commentary.
Thank you for that.
I bring the fun.
Yeah, he does. He brings the fun everywhere. The girls were talking about that when you were gone.
Yeah, it was pretty boring around here without me.
Yes, it is. You bring the fun. I make sure
Like
everybody
this.
is like fed. That is not fun. You gotta stop.
I'm having fun.
Anything else we need to talk about? I actually feel bad for the YouTube viewers
Why?
because they see this, and the podcast listeners they don't have to like see this.
Yeah, but they never get to see this.
That's what I'm saying. They're lucky. They're lucky ones. I feel bad for the YouTubers. Is that what they're called? YouTubers?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I need to up my YouTube game.
Yeah, and maybe don't yawn.
Sorry, everybody. You know what?
Are we keeping you up?
Yes. I am kind of tired. When my alarm went off this morning, I was like, no. But I got up easier than you did. You were like out.
Yeah. But I want to encourage all of you out there to dance the day away. Have a fun day, everybody. We'll see you next time.
I'm so ashamed of you. This is why I don't want to dance at weddings.
This is why I do want to dance at weddings. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Later.